Hey guys, how you doing? It's Graham Taylor here at Hudson Roads with another brief video on insurance, specifically this time critical illness cover, or KIC as we like to call it in the industry, because we're cool cats, so we have to shorten things down. Critical illness cover had a lot of press over the years, not all of it good, and a lot of that is, as you'd expect in things like the media, is not entirely warranted. All right, so we're going to clear up a few myths, explain what critical illness cover is, why it exists, why you might need it, and then you can go on about your daily business and decide for yourself, really. So critical illness cover is a type of personal insurance that protects an individual, that pays a lump sum on diagnosis or of a specified critical illness. When we say specified, that is specified on the policy document. More on that in a minute. Or if you undergo a certain surgical procedure, again, that is on that document. All right. So if you think about life assurance, you die, it pays a big sum of money or small sum of money, depending on how you have it. Critical illness cover, you get a critical illness or you have one of these surgeries, it pays a lump sum. Now, it originates, here's a bit of history for you, gather round children, and I'll get my sort of pipe out and Grandpa, tell you a story. It originates apparently in South Africa from a heart surgeon who was fixed up all these people that had heart attacks, but then realised actually their quality of life going forward wasn't as brilliant as it was. And there was no cover in place or no insurance at the time that would address this. If you died, it was okay because some money paid out. But if you just had this kind of heart attack, this serious event, then, well, what did you do? So he must have got bored of being a heart surgeon or had an interest in insurance on the side. This product, critical illness cover, was developed, and it has just grown from there over the last sort of 30, 40 years, I guess, right? So the major things that a critical illness policy will pay out on are, or the major claims are cancer, heart attack, and stroke. Okay, the one after that is children's cover as well, and MS is in there now as well. So those are the major things. The key thing with critical illness, right, and this is the fundamental thing I want you to take away from this, is that not all critical illness policies are the same. Far from it, right? Life assurance, there's no arguments when you're dead. They don't stand around looking at you going, I don't know, you could just be asleep, right? You know, it's pretty definitive. Yeah, so they're fairly similar. There's tweaks and things in life assurance you need to be aware of, but the actual broad definition of when you're dead is pretty cast iron. With critical illness, okay, it's open to more interpretation of, well, how are these different illnesses covered? Because insurer A might say, we class a heart attack as this, and where insurer B might say, well, we'll class a heart attack as that, right? Now, to give some background to that, there are definitions of cover. So what is a heart attack? What is a stroke? You know, what is this type of cancer? That are prescribed by the Association of British Insurers. Easy for me to say, the ABI, right? And they're the guys that say, look, these are the standard definitions you must meet in order to have a critical illness policy that covers a heart attack. The problem is ABI definitions are basic, right? Absolutely basic things. So what insurers have done over the years, if they've to try and enhance their policy, they've said, hey, we're going to be better than ABI. We're going to be ABI plus, and we're going to have better definitions of cover within our policies. So if you're looking at two critical illness policies, one from insurer A, one from insurer B, and they've got 35, 40 things, right, listed as what they will cover, you'd have to know the differences between every illness and every measurement of that illness to work out which is better. Okay, and I've worked with many doctors and surgeons things over the years, and one remarked to me once. He said, "This is heavy going. Like, you know, it's not an easy thing to understand, even for people in that profession." Okay, so we have tools that allow us to compare these things, because there are people that's full-time job is to compare those definitions. But the point is that not all critical illness cover is created equal, which brings me on to the next bit, right, which is price. These things can vary in price, but the reason they vary in price is because they vary in quality. And whilst it might be okay to cut a few corners on your contents insurance, because if you drop your TV and you're not covered for it, well, you just have to look at the wall for a bit or buy a new TV. When you're dealing with things like critical illness cover, it's important that you have really, really good, robust cover, because you don't be paying out a little bit of money every month only to find that when you come to try and claim, you're not covered or there's something in that. So you've got to be very careful to pick the right policy. And if you pick the right policy, if you pick the right policy, yeah, and you are and you declare everything as you should in an application form, yeah, then you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be all right. Okay. So again, critical illness cover, lump sum payment on diagnosis of a specified critical illness. Why would you have this? Okay, few reasons. One can be to help clear down a mortgage debt, although there are other things that may work to help manage that mortgage debt, things like income protection, which I've done another video on. So one could be to pay down a debt if you got seriously ill, because maybe your income and your work chances aren't as good as they were. The other thing can be to pay for private medical care. All right, so lump sum money, you can pay for treatment that might not be available on the NHS, or you can choose to have that treatment elsewhere. The other one is lump sum to make adaptations to houses, to buildings. You know, if following a serious illness or serious surgery, you need to have alterations to the house, then a lump sum money can do that. All right, so those are the reasons why it exists. It is always underwritten based on your health. So these things are underwritten to your individual circumstances. It's not like clicking on a policy and have that's fine. And bear in mind, the policies that ask less questions on application are going to have more at the back end if it comes to a claim, which can be put in a bit shaky ground. So always better to be dealing with the insurers that are going to go in at quite depth at application stage, because you know that when it comes to claim, you're going to be covered and it's all going to be fine. Okay. A word on the negative stuff that sometimes goes around about critical illness cover. I think our friends in the Daily Mail occasionally like to pick up on things and say, it's rubbish, it doesn't pay, this person was left without. We can provide you with claim statistics and all of these things. What you'll find is that most often it is down to non-disclosure on application forms. So it's people saying, oh no, I've not been ill recently, or I don't smoke, and then actually they were on 70 a day and had just been to the doctor. So if something happens to them, so it's insurers protect their risk. But if you're upfront and honest with an insurer, there is no grand scheme for them not to try and pay you out. Insurers work on the basis of pooled risk. They factor in how much they are going to pay when they're doing their calculations on premiums. So it's not that they have all the money and they don't want to let any go. They've already allowed for the stuff going out and the stuff coming in. It's maths, it's actuaries, it's all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so don't dwell on it. Critical illness cover, lump sum cover, specified critical illness. Not all critical illnesses are created equal. We know the ones that are better than others, so that might help. But don't dwell on it. Go out there, have some fun. And if you haven't thought about what you would do if that would happen to you, then maybe just give it 10 minutes thought and make a plan. Take care. See you later. Bye.